Actually, I got an email a couple of days ago that I thought was pretty interesting, and it provoked an interesting conversation between Autumn and I about the language of it all and some different perspectives on it. So we want to share with you a little bit about that perspective and kind of get your thoughts on it as well, because we want to open up some conversation. Any commentary you want to make before I read the thing?
I think today's conversation is more along the lines of positive wording versus negative wording. You know, in sales, we want to provoke certain emotions, certain feelings, and things like that. Certain phrases like don't forget, don't miss out, don't do this, don't do that, and which has a lot of negative feelings to it, versus maybe the way that you want to talk to your kids or talk to your spouse, things like that. Like, hey, remember this, remember that, let's do this instead of don't do that. So this is gonna kind of be an interesting topic. There's like one angle, which is the business, and then there's another angle, which is the family.
And this really gets into kind of the psychology, because when you're attempting to motivate your spouse or your children to do the things you want to do, it's kind of a sales conversation. You got to get them to buy in and take action and things like that. So I'm not saying you have to have a structured problem, agitate, solution, call to action. You don't have to have that when you're having a conversation with your wife or your children. But you need to be structuring some of the psychology and some of the things you want to create and the directions you want to take them. Without further ado, and I will change some things here to protect the guilty.
So here, why don't you go ahead and read that email that we got.
Okay, so starts off with a caption.
There's cat butt.
Starts off, I'm going to leave that in, that's hilarious.
Okay.
But it starts off with the caption, "Don't forget!" Exclamation point, exclamation point. And this is coming from a school PTO. The school PTO has posted a new item. Please join our school district primary school and elementary school counselors for a second informational parent night of the year, building successful learners who have strong character and grit, on a date at a location. If the following points interest you, please don't miss out on this great event. Creating a family of character. Character is not so much taught as it is caught. Praising and correcting for character. Establishing high standards. Please view attached flyer, building successful learners, for more information.
So what are some phrases that we can use other than like don't forget?
Quick sidebar, but what was interesting is this email got sent out later from somebody else, and it said opportunity for parents. That's a much better title than don't forget, because I'm getting a thing from a school system saying don't forget. I'm like, what am I not forgetting? And then I kind of move on with it because I don't know if it's for me or if it's not for me, and I don't really have a lot of direct communication with this group. So don't forget. Okay, well, obviously they're not talking to me. But when I read the parent one, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me click on that because I like knowing stuff that's going on for parents. Don't forget. Don't forget what? Who you're talking to? For this particular email, okay, don't forget. Parent opportunity for parents, parenting skills improvement, kids with character workshop, parenting workshop for improving your kids. You know, give a description more of who is it for and what's the outcome, because for a lot of people they're busy and they don't want to play detective in their email, especially if we're coming from a school system, we already have a relationship, we want to make that conversation, let's just go, what do you need to know from me, and let's go. We already have this relationship, so we don't need the play detective game.
Cats.
I love cats.
Cats.
So after we adjust the heading, the three phrases that really stood out for me as I read this was don't forget, please don't miss, praising and correcting for character. And some of you may go, wait, that third one doesn't sound bad, but I'll get to that in a second. So we talked about don't forget, please don't miss. Or you could say, this is an opportunity. You could say, be sure to attend, get your space now, give us a call. Do something to promote or provoke them to do something, rather than just say, oh, hey, don't miss this. And what if I don't? So, I mean, if you're going to go the problem, agitate, solution route, beat them up for missing it. If you don't miss this, your kids are going to like get into drugs and set houses on fire and end up in jail or dead. Oh my gosh, I have to be there. If you're going to run, a sales letter, then make it a sales letter. If it's just a quick reminder, hey, there's this thing we're doing, it's cool, love to have you there, it would be great, then do it that way. But they're kind of like standing in two boats, and it's sort of confusing. Am I supposed to feel bad and feel guilty and take action, or what?
Yeah, I think another thing for me, like as a mom or as an entrepreneurial mom, to really take action on something like an email like this, I really have to like know like some really strong core benefits. And if you're going to talk to me about like positive character and positive family and all this other things, like I want to be more motivated positively to take action on this versus like don't forget, don't miss out, don't do this, don't do that, versus like, hey, we're having this thing, what a great opportunity, come and explore, come learn, come figure out, find out, like take these like super awesome actionable tips, which I mean they have a list on the email of like some like pretty strong points, like things like creating a family of character and things like that. But for this email, I feel like it could have been worded so much much better if it just was more positive and also more informative.
That's a very good observation. My last thing was this idea of praising and correcting for character. The reason that one highlights for me is actually when I was first taught as an instructor and we were doing things with student management and stuff like that, we had a concept called PCP, praise, correct, praise. Since that time, I have changed that strategy around to something else that's called PAP, which is praise, adjust, praise, preframe. The idea of praise, what do I like about what you're doing? But then instead of what they're saying in this email is correcting, the problem with when you go in to correct someone, what is that thought? If I say I'm going to correct you, what comes before correcting? There's a presupposition that you're doing it wrong. And think about when you are talking with somebody and they know you're doing things wrong, how well do they communicate to you and motivate you to take action versus it kind of gets in the way of rapport. Does that make sense? Rather than saying, oh, I have to correct you because I'm the adult authority figure, I'm right, you're wrong, I must correct you. I'm going to offer an adjustment and then we'll see how that works for you and is it ecological, does it work inside your life, and is it sustainable and you could do it. So when we work with our students, whether it's on the martial art or in the consulting, but it's praise, adjust, praise. I like what you're doing, I like your energy, I like your passion, be genuine in your praise. Then you're going to offer an adjustment for them to try and see how that feels. Try this adjustment, maybe make this modification. How does that feel for you? Does it feel authentic? Does it feel genuine? Does it feel comfortable? Do you get more power? Do you get more speed? And then you're going to praise that new action for the growth that they've achieved, the willingness to get out of their comfort zone. But then also you're going to pre-frame, which is setting the expectation because you've done this skill and made this change now. In the future, other things like this will also be easier. So I'm painting a picture of where they're going to be down the line. Just that initial, oh, hey, we want you to be more positive, so we're going to correct you in your negativity. So we're going to correct you to be more positive. But if you're going to correct me, that already starts to gum up the works a little bit because it's sort of negative. It assumes you're doing it wrong. We want to offer an adjustment because ultimately you have to make the choices in your life and you have to live with your consequences.
How many people enjoy like the one time that you make a Facebook status and they're like, you spelled that word wrong. You forgot the comma. No sentence should have more than one exclamation point. That one annoys me. My sister gets me about that.
I get you about that. I'm guilty of that too. I'm like, stop, there's too many exclamation points. You're too excited. But the truth is, you're
an excited person.
Exactly. I was going to say, you're an excited person. Excitable and exciting.
Thanks.
You're quite welcome. So we just wanted to grab a few moments of your time and just point out, think about your language and what is it you're really doing. Are you making like an informed, full-on sales pitch? Are you looking to build rapport? Are you looking to inform? Do you have a previous relationship? Try to be a little more conscious of your language, and is it focused on what you want or what you don't want? I want you to not forget, or do I want you to remember? And especially with little kids, don't run. They start running because the brain has to create run before it negates the run. It'd be better if you just say, hey guys, let's walk, because then that's what you actually want.
And then I also feel like, when parents are like, don't touch this, so they'll like the kid goes like, I'm not touching you.
I'm not touching you. He touched me.
My best suggestion for that is why don't you tell them things like you do want. So, hey, don't touch me. Let's keep our hands to ourselves. Or better yet, put our hands together. Put our hands on our shoulders. Put our hands on our knees. Things like that. So tell your kids more what you want and not what you don't want.
And that's something when I first met Autumn, I noticed with Jamie, she was very good at languaging what she wanted out of him. And then it was easier for him to comply with it. And I watched a lot of other young moms that struggle with that because it's don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And she had a language pattern of where she said exactly what she wanted him to do, and he would do it more often than not. And it was one of the things that really actually impressed me when I first met her, was watching her and going, you're really good at that. And that's not something I see a lot.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your weekend. This was posted on a Friday, so you got some things to think about and play with as you go through your weekend, and we'll see you on Monday, and you make it a fantastic weekend.
As always, guys, we hope that you really enjoyed our video today. Make sure that you subscribe so that way you never miss a video. We typically post on Fridays and Mondays.
And then, if you don't mind, go ahead and like the video, but share it out with your friends on your internet, web, social media, place to think, but yeah, there you go. All that stuff.
Bye!
Bye-bye. Hey, look, it's Munch, and she really doesn't like to be held.
Munch says that you should subscribe. Subscribe.
She looks so put
like,
on.
Share.
There's stuff outside. It's bright and sunshiny.
What?
And there's
what?
a string.
What?
Can you see the urge to kill rising in her eyes?
Okay.
She's our feisty one. I wish I had
This
hair like
giant
that.
ponytail.
I wish I had hair like that.
I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back.
Yeah, I can't sing. Oh, yeah, I can't sing that song. You got no hair. You're fun.
It's super long.